Hey everybody, this is Rick, also known as Duke City Devil Dog. This is part 2 of my reasons why you should come to Crete Shaffer hunt right now. Stay tuned and we'll talk about it. Hey everybody, this is Duke City Devil Dog. This is Rick. I just wanted to talk to you just a little bit about the second reason why I think you should come over here to Crete. And the second reason is the miles. Now, I talked in the previous video about money, about your compensation per miles. And all sorts of places you see where it says we're going to pay this much per mile and whatever. Well, that's great if you get the miles. Like I used to tell people, if you're making 40 cents a mile and getting 3,000 miles a week, that's $1,200. But if you're making 60 cents a mile and you're only getting 1,500 miles a week, you're not making that. You're not making that much. You know, you're only making $900. So, which is better? You know, the best thing is to do is to pair a high per mile with a lot of miles, and that's what Crete does. That's what Shaffer does. That's what Hunt does. Okay, so let me tell you sort of the way that things go here. And in my previous job with Stevens, I used to be very proactive, and by proactive, what I mean is, I would get done with a load, and before I dropped it off, I'd be sending messages or be on the phone with my driver manager saying, hey, can you start lining me up something next, because I don't want to be sitting. And they were pretty good with it. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Driving reefer, a lot of times with Stevens, just the nature of what they ran, you may get another load, but when you get there to pick it up, you're going to be sitting for a while. That doesn't happen very often with Crete. I can't tell you about Shaffer, but the recruiters can. So, if you give me your info or you call recruiting and give them my driver code, they'll give you the info. I'm sorry, I'm sweating a little bit. It's hot in here. I turned off the AC, so you wouldn't hear that running. But I want to talk about miles real quick. Okay, so I get about as many miles as I could possibly run, and they're so good with pre-plans. Almost always what happens is when I get dispatched on a load, so just like every other company, you get a pre-plan, okay? You accept it or don't accept it, just depends on, they give you certain reasons why it's okay to not accept them and that kind of stuff. But assuming you go ahead and accept the pre-plan, once you get done with the current plan you're on, you're going to get dispatched on that. And as soon as you get dispatched on it, they're going to ask you what your ETA is. That's your estimated time of arrival at the final, at the consignee or the receiver. And they're going to ask you what your PTA is. That's the time that you're going to be available, your projected time of availability. And usually it's an hour to 2 hours after that, depending on whether it's a live unload or drop and hook. As soon as you give them that information, and you're going to give them that when you send your loaded in on your current load, almost always I'm getting the next load right after that. I will always have another load at least a day before I'm dropping off the current load. I'll always have a pre-plan, and that's great. There have been times when they're trying to get me home where I'll have 3 or 4 pre-plans because they're trying to get me all over so that I can get home, and they'll line those up for me. So I know where I'm going and I know what I'm running. Most of our freight, and I would say it's down a little bit because right now we're in a little transition, but I would say still, usually our drop and hook freight is 80 to 85% drop and hook. Most of it on both ends. Right now it's probably about 75%, maybe a little bit higher than that. But all of our stuff usually is in windows. And because it's in windows where where you need to be here between this time and this time for even a dry load or drive, or you see me a live load or a live unload. It allows you a lot of leeway. Now, the good part about that is, you're just running, you're just going. You got this one, you're going to the next one, you're just going. Just to give you an example, in June, I stayed out just about the whole month in June, and I ran a little over 14,000 miles in June. That's just great. I mean, I was number one in my fleet. Okay, you're assigned to a fleet here. I'll talk about that probably in the next video, because I want to talk a little bit about support and different things like that. But you're going to get a ton of miles here. Okay, you're going to get a lot of miles. If you're running OTR, you're going to be driving all over the place if you want to. I've gotten to all 48 of the lower states. It's great. I mean, you're hauling all sorts of different product, everything from dog food to kitty litter to, I've got a load of felt right now, like felt cloth, beer, anything. I mean, you can haul just about anything, and you will, and that's great. And what that ends up meaning is that there's so many more loads out there for you to run, and that means so many more miles. There's a lot of times when I won't say a lot of times. There've been a number of times when I've started off the week in Washington State and finished it in Georgia or Florida. So I mean, there's a lot of driving, and there's a lot of ways to get miles with this company. So you pair that with a high per mile, and then you also add on, those numbers of miles, and you put it onto a productivity bonus, and then up to a profit sharing afterwards, all based on those miles, and you're going to start to turn some serious money. There's a reason why I think over 50% of drivers with Crete Shaffer average over $90,000. There's some money out there. So now's a great time to come. We've got tons of freight to run, and we don't have enough drivers to do it. So why don't you come to Crete, be one of those drivers? Come on over here. It's a great place to work, and I like to see people make the money for as hard as they work with this company or with any company. Make the money that you can. I've been able to put aside some money and do some things that I want to do, and I'm really psyched about that. So that's the second reason why. First reason, the compensation. Second reason, the miles, and you keep moving. So the third thing we're going to talk about, and this will be in the next video, is a little bit about the support systems, because that's important. All right. So this is Rick, also known as Duke City Devil Dog. If you're interested in coming to Crete, my information is down below. My driver code is CARR31. Give them that info, call. If you don't feel like calling, if you'd rather just give me your information, my email address is down below. It's dukecitydevilDog@gmail.com. All one word, Duke City Devil Dog. Send me your info, send me your name, your address, your phone number, and your email address, and we'll get them in touch with you so you can come on board. It's a great time to come to Crete, Shaffer, and hunt. Hope to see you over here soon. Again, this is Rick, also known as Duke City Devil Dog, and we'll see you down the road. Take care.